My child, stop what you are doing, because your body has been carrying what your soul never released. Do not rush past these words. Do not treat this moment as ordinary. There are times when I interrupt your movement because you have been moving, while something inside you has been quietly sinking. There are times when I call your attention back to what you have ignored, not to shame you, not to frighten you, but to let you know that I have seen what you have been carrying in silence. I know the tiredness you could not explain. I know the heaviness that sometimes settles in your chest without warning. I know the restless sleep, the turning, the waking, the feeling that your body is lying down but your soul is still standing guard. I know the tension in your shoulders, the tightness you learned to live with, the breath you did not realize you were holding, the sudden emotional exhaustion that comes over you when nothing obvious has happened. I know what it feels like when you are drained and you cannot point to one reason why. Hear me clearly. Your body has been speaking because your soul has been holding pain in silence. What you refused to cry through, what you had to survive quickly, what you pushed down because life required you to keep going, did not disappear simply because you became functional. Some burdens left your mouth silent but stayed inside your body loud. Some wounds were never given language, so your body began carrying the sentence your heart could not speak. And I know how long you have tried to be okay. I know how many times you answered, "I'm fine," while something inside you was not fine. I know how often you smiled, while inwardly aching. I know how you learned to keep showing up, keep working, keep helping, keep answering, keep serving, keep pretending the weight was not as heavy as it was. You became skilled at functioning outwardly, while aching inwardly. But what others called strength, I also saw as strain. What others admired as endurance, I also saw as exhaustion. I saw all of it. My child, this is not shame over weakness. This is not correction for being tired. This is not accusation, because you could not release everything sooner. This is me naming what you have been too tired to name. This is me putting tenderness where you expected judgment. This is me reaching into the hidden place and saying, I know it is there. I know when it began. I know why you held it. I know what it cost you to keep carrying it. Nothing inside you becomes invisible simply because no one else noticed it. The hidden pressure, the quiet grief, the old disappointment, the fear you swallowed, the anger you buried, the heartbreak you minimized, the responsibility you carried beyond your portion, none of it has been beyond my knowledge. Your body was never meant to be the storage place for pain. Your soul was afraid to surrender. So stay with me through this whole message. Do not leave before the weight begins to lose its grip. Like this video as an act of agreement with healing peace. Subscribe if you need more prayer-filled words to meet you in the places you have been carrying alone. And if these words already feel personal, write, Lord, help me release what my body has been carrying. Let that be the first honest sound from the place that has been silent too long. Let it rise without fear. I am not here to condemn your body. I am here to lift what was never meant to remain there. I know the places where you learned to hide your pain. I know the rooms where you swallowed tears because there was no space for them. I know the conversations where your throat tightened, but you stayed quiet because you were trying to keep peace. I know the moments when something inside you wanted to say, that hurt me, but another part of you decided it was safer to smile, safer to nod, safer to move on, as though the wound had not reached you. I know how many times you chose silence, not because you had nothing to say, but because speaking felt like it would cost too much. My child, I was there when you learned to call hiding wisdom. I was there when you learned to call suppression maturity. I was there when you learned to call exhaustion responsibility. I was there when you began carrying what should have been spoken, grieved, confronted, released, or placed into my hands. I saw the first time you decided that your feelings were too much for others. I saw the first time you believed your pain would inconvenience someone. I saw the first time you became the one who adjusted, absorbed, apologized, understood, and carried the weight, just so everything around you would not fall apart. Hear this deeply. You did survive by hiding. I am not accusing you for the way you made it through what overwhelmed you. I am not standing over your history with harshness. I know why you hid. I know why you went quiet. I know why you became careful with your words. I know why you learned to study faces before you spoke. I know why you became sensitive to moods, tones, silence, distance, and sudden changes. You were trying to stay safe. You were trying to remain loved. You were trying not to make the wound worse, but healing begins when hiding is no longer required. I know the grief you never fully mourned because life kept asking you to continue. I know the loss you minimized because someone else needed you strong. I know the betrayal you never spoke aloud because naming it would have made it feel too real. I know the fear you covered with busyness, the way you filled your days so your heart would not have time to tremble. I know the disappointment hidden behind responsibility, the ache behind your dependability, the sadness behind your competence, the loneliness behind your ability to handle so much. I know the anger you buried because it felt unsafe to express. I know the part of you that learned to fear your own honest emotions. And what your soul hid, your body eventually had to carry. The clenched muscles were not random to me. The tired nerves were not invisible to me. The shallow breathing, the pressure in your stomach, the headaches that seemed to arrive when you had been holding too much, the tight jaw, the heavy chest, the restless limbs, the body that stayed alert even in quiet rooms. I saw all of it. I know the difference between ordinary tiredness and the fatigue of a soul that has been bracing for too long. I know the difference between a passing ache and the ache of years of unsurrendered pain pressing from beneath the surface. Nothing silent inside you is invisible to me. Nothing unnamed inside you is forgotten by me. Nothing buried inside you is beyond my reach. The wound may have been hidden from people who only saw your composure, but it was never hidden from the one who formed your inward parts. The pain may have had no witness in the moment it happened, but I was there. The tears may have never touched your face, but I received what your body held back. The words may have never left your mouth, but I heard the sentence your heart could not finish. My child, you do not have to keep proving that you are okay in order to be loved. You do not have to keep protecting everyone from the truth of what hurt you. You do not have to keep calling pain small just because you learned to survive it quietly. What happened mattered. What you carried mattered. What you could not say mattered. What your body has been remembering mattered. And because it mattered, I am coming tenderly, not to reopen you without purpose, but to bring my hand to the places that closed around pain. I know the hidden wound beneath the heaviness. I know the memory beneath the tension. I know the story beneath the symptom. I know the fear beneath the silence. And I am not asking you to expose yourself to those who cannot hold your heart with care. I am asking you to stop hiding from me. Let the guarded place breathe in my presence. Let the part of you that has been braced for rejection begin to soften beneath my authority. Let the body that has remembered pain begin to learn peace. You are not too complicated for my tenderness. You are not too guarded for my patience. You are not too wounded for my healing. I have seen every hidden wound your body was forced to remember, and I am here now to teach your soul that it does not have to hide in order to survive. It can release. It can rest. It can be known and still be safe. The fatigue you called normal was carrying an unreleased burden. You thought it was only the long day, only the demands, only the years passing, only the sleep you did not get, only the responsibilities waiting for you when you opened your eyes. And yes, my child, I know your body has needed ordinary rest. I know there are natural reasons the body grows weary. I know wise care matters. I know doctors matter. I know sleep matters. I know nourishment, stillness, boundaries, and help matter. I do not despise the ways care can come through human hands. But hear me clearly. There is a kind of tiredness that does not lift when the night ends, because it did not begin in the night. There is a kind of heaviness that does not leave simply because your schedule changes, because it was never only in your schedule. There is a fatigue that comes from carrying what was never surrendered. I know how you explained it away. You said, I am just tired. You said, this is just life. You said, everyone feels this way. You said, I just need to push through. You said, I cannot stop now. You said it so many times that you began to believe exhaustion was your normal state. But I saw what was beneath it. I saw the emotional labor you never counted. I saw the silent bracing you never named. I saw the way your soul kept watching for the next disappointment, the next demand, the next rejection, the next problem, the next moment when you would have to become strong again. My child, always being strong has a weight. Always anticipating problems has a weight. Always managing other people's emotions has a weight. Always preparing yourself for rejection before it happens has a weight. Always holding back tears because there is no convenient time to fall apart has a weight. Always making room for everyone else while shrinking the room inside yourself has a weight. And when the soul carries weight without release, the body begins to feel what the heart was never allowed to express. Your shoulders carried what your mouth never said. Your chest carried the pressure of words held back, grief held down, and fear held inside. Your stomach carried the tension of uncertainty, the waiting, the dread, the conversations you replayed, the outcomes you tried to control before they arrived. Your jaw carried the restraint of staying calm when everything in you wanted to cry, speak, ask, confront, or finally admit that you were hurt. Your nerves carried the alarm of living ready for what might go wrong. Your blood, your bones, your breath, and your heart have known the pressure of burdens that were never meant to make a home inside you. Nothing about this makes you broken. Hear this deeply. You are not broken because your body became tired. You are not weak because your nervous system learned to guard you. You are not failing because your breath became shallow under pressure. You are not less faithful because your heart became heavy after carrying too much for too long. Your body has not been betraying you. In many ways, your body has been asking for rest because your soul has needed release. I know the fatigue that comes after pretending. I know the exhaustion that follows, being agreeable while your heart is aching. I know the weariness that comes from reading every tone, every silence, every change in someone's face, trying to protect yourself from pain before pain has even spoken. I know the heaviness that settles after you have been the stable one, the understanding one, the one who adjusts, the one who forgives quickly, the one who makes things easier for everyone else, while something inside you becomes harder to carry. And I am not asking you to ignore your body. I am not asking you to reject wise help. I am not asking you to call every symptom spiritual and refuse the care placed within your reach. I am the one who formed your body with wisdom, and I can use rest, counsel, treatment, support, and gentle care as part of healing. But I am also speaking to the hidden weight beneath the surface. I am speaking to the fear that attached itself to your tiredness. I am speaking to the grief that hid behind your functioning. I am speaking to the old burden that taught your body to brace even when nothing dangerous is happening now. The fatigue you dismissed as ordinary may be your body asking your soul to finally lay down what it was never created to carry forever. The heaviness you kept pushing through may be the place where I am inviting surrender. The pressure you learned to live with may be the doorway where peace is waiting to enter. You do not have to keep calling bondage normal just because you have adapted to it. You do not have to keep mistaking survival for wholeness. You do not have to keep wearing strength in places where I am offering rest. My child, let me come beneath the fatigue. Let me touch the burden under the burden. Let me separate what belongs to today from what belongs to yesterday. Let me lift what your shoulders kept carrying after the season had already passed. Let me quiet the alarm in your nerves. Let me soften the guarded place in your chest. Let me teach your breath that it does not have to keep preparing for pain. Let me speak peace into the heart that has been working even while the body was still. You have called it normal long enough. You have carried it quietly long enough. You have explained it away long enough. Now, I am naming it with tenderness so release can begin. This fatigue is not your identity. This heaviness is not your future. This burden is not stronger than my hand. What your body has been asking for, I am now offering to your soul. Release it to me. Rest under my authority. Let the weight begin to loosen. And now hear me clearly. Fear attached itself to your symptoms and made them sound final. Fear came near the tiredness, near the ache, near the pressure, near the sudden trembling, near the restless night, and it began to speak as though it had authority to interpret your whole future. Fear took what your body was trying to communicate and turned it into a sentence of dread. Fear took a sensation and made it sound like a verdict. Fear took a moment of weakness and whispered that weakness would become your identity. Fear took one hard night and tried to convince you that nothing would ever change. My child, I know the exact place where fear enters when your body does not feel right. I know how quickly a small ache can become a frightening future in your imagination. I know how a racing heart can begin to sound like a prophecy of danger. I know how one sleepless night can become evidence in your mind that peace will never return. I know how tightness in the chest, heaviness in the limbs, weakness in the body, a change in breathing, a sudden wave of dizziness, a pain that comes and goes. can become more than a symptom when fear begins to explain it. The sensation may be real, but fear's interpretation is not always truth. I know the silent panic you tried to hide. I know the way your mind traveled ahead without permission. I know the questions that came quickly. What if this never lifts? What if this gets worse? What if I am not strong enough? What if my body is trying to warn me of something terrible? What if I cannot return to the way I was? What if peace is gone from me? I know those questions. I heard them before anyone else heard your voice. I saw the fear before it became words. I saw the dread before it became tears. I saw the moment when your body asked for care, but fear tried to write a sentence over your life. Pause inwardly now, my child. Let my voice separate what has been tangled. There is a difference between a body asking for care and fear trying to take command. There is a difference between wisdom that notices and panic that prophesies. There is a difference between paying attention to your body and surrendering your future to dread. I do not ask you to ignore what your body is saying. I do not ask you to pretend nothing is happening when something needs tenderness, rest, help, or attention. But I am telling you that fear is not your physician. Fear is not your shepherd. Fear is not your prophet. And fear is not your God. Fear may have entered your imagination, but it does not own your body. Fear may have touched your thoughts, but it does not own your future. Fear may have tightened your breath, but it does not own your lungs. Fear may have sat beside your bed in the night, but it does not own your peace. Fear may have spoken loudly through the ache, the racing heart, the trembling hands, the exhausted nerves, the unsettled stomach, the pressure in your chest, the weakness in your bones. But fear does not have final authority over what belongs to me. Hear this deeply. Anxiety is answerable to my voice. Dread is answerable to my authority. Silent panic is answerable to my presence. The thoughts that rise suddenly and try to drag you into tomorrow before grace has met you there are answerable to my word. The imagination that becomes cruel when your body feels uncertain is answerable to my peace. The inner alarm that keeps ringing long after the danger has passed is not stronger than my hand. I can speak to the storm inside your nervous system. I can quiet what has been shaking. I can bring your breath back under peace. You have thought fear was protecting you, but fear has often been exhausting you. You thought fear was helping you prepare, but fear was teaching your body to brace. You thought fear was giving you control, but fear was stealing rest before anything even happened. Fear made the burden feel permanent because fear only knows how to repeat what has hurt you, what has frightened you, what has disappointed you, what has not changed yet. But I speak from a place deeper than fear. I speak from the beginning and the end. I speak over the body fear tried to claim. I speak over the future fear tried to darken. I speak over the breath fear tried to shorten. I speak over the peace fear tried to interrupt. My child, do not let fear finish the sentence. When fear says, "This will never change," let my voice rise within you and say, "This is under my Father's authority." When fear says, "Your body is failing you," let truth answer, "My body is being met with care, wisdom, and the healing presence of God." When fear says, "You will always carry this," let your soul answer, "The burden is being released." When fear says, "You are alone in this," let my love answer, "I am here, and nothing inside you is beyond my reach." I know how fear made the symptom larger. I know how dread made the night longer. I know how anxiety made the room feel smaller. I know how silent panic made you feel trapped inside your own body. But fear does not get to define the meaning of what you feel. Fear does not get to turn every sensation into a sentence of doom. Fear does not get to take a weary body and call it a ruined life. Fear does not get to take an unreleased burden and declare it permanent. Breathe with me now. Let the body ask for what it needs without letting fear become its interpreter. Let your soul notice without surrendering to dread. Let your mind slow down beneath my authority. Let the places that have been listening to panic begin to listen to peace. The burden felt permanent because fear spoke over it for too long. But fear is not final. Fear is not Lord. Fear is not stronger than my voice. And even now, as you hear me, the sound of fear is beginning to lose its authority inside you. What entered your body did not enter with endless permission. What settled there through grief, through trauma, through stress, through rejection, through fear, through years of bracing and swallowing and enduring, did not enter as Lord over you. It may have entered quietly. It may have entered when you were too overwhelmed to understand what was happening. It may have entered through a season you never wanted, through words that cut deeply, through absence that wounded you, through pressure that stayed too long, through disappointment that taught your body to expect pain. But hear me now. It did not enter with endless permission. It did not enter beyond my reach. It did not enter outside my knowledge. It did not enter stronger than my hand. It did not enter as the owner of your future. My child, no hidden burden has permission to remain untouched by my authority. The weight that hid in your chest is not beyond me. The heaviness that rested on your shoulders is not beyond me. The alarm that trained your nervous system to stay watchful is not beyond me. The unrest that moved through your mind in the quiet hours is not beyond me. The weakness that seemed to settle into your bones is not beyond me. The breath that became shallow under pressure is not beyond me. Nothing inside you is so buried that my voice cannot reach it. Nothing has been stored so long that my hand cannot separate it from your identity. I know what entered when you were grieving and still had to function. I know what entered when you were rejected and still had to remain composed. I know what entered when you were afraid and no one knew how afraid you were. I know what entered when stress became normal and peace began to feel unfamiliar. I know what entered when you kept giving from a place that was already empty. I know what entered when the body learned to expect conflict, loss, disappointment, criticism, silence, and abandonment. I know every doorway through which pain tried to settle inside you, and I am standing at those doorways now with authority. Hear this deeply. You are not being blamed for what your body carried. You are not being accused because pain found a place to hide. You are not being told to force yourself into healing by denying what happened. Surrender is not self-punishment. Surrender is not pretending you are fine. Surrender is not gripping your emotions and commanding yourself to feel better. Surrender is allowing me into the hidden room where the pain was stored. It is letting my presence enter the place you kept closed because you were afraid that opening it would overwhelm you. It is letting my hand touch what your strength could only contain. So I speak peace over your chest, where pressure has gathered and where sorrow has sometimes felt heavy. I speak release over your shoulders, where responsibilities, disappointments, and silent burdens have rested for too long. I speak calm over your nervous system, over the inner alarm that kept ringing even after the danger passed. I speak rest over your mind, over the thoughts that circled, repeated, rehearsed, feared, and tried to solve tomorrow before tomorrow came. I speak strength over your bones, over the deep places that felt tired from carrying the weight of seasons you survived. I speak breath over your lungs, over every place where fear shortened what I created to move freely. What entered through pain must answer to my peace. What entered through fear must answer to my love. What entered through rejection must answer to my acceptance. What entered through trauma must answer to my authority. What entered through grief must answer to my comfort. What entered through long stress, long silence, long endurance, and long disappointment must answer to the one who formed you before any burden ever touched you. The burden has spoken loudly, but it is not final. The symptoms have demanded attention, but they are not sovereign. The memory has been powerful, but it is not greater than my presence. Even now, beneath what you can measure, restoration is beginning. You may not see everything change at once. You may not be able to prove with your senses that something has shifted, but do not despise what begins beneath the surface. Peace often enters before the body knows how to respond. Calm often arrives before the old patterns fully loosen. Release often begins as a small unclenching, a quieter breath, a softening in a place that has been guarded for years. The first sign may not be dramatic. The first sign may be that fear is no longer holding the center of the room. My child, let me have access. Let me enter the hidden place without your shame standing at the door. Let me touch the memory without fear telling you it will destroy you. Let me lift the burden without you needing to understand every thread of how it formed. You do not have to untangle yourself alone. You do not have to find every origin before I can begin. You do not have to become perfect at surrender before my mercy can move. Open to me right where you are. Let the guarded place hear my voice. Let the body that carried silently begin to receive openly. No hidden burden has permission to remain untouched by my authority. No old pain has the right to rule your breath. No fear has the right to write your future. No wound has the right to name you forever. What entered did not enter with endless permission, and what I am touching now cannot remain the same under my hand. Peace is beginning. Release is beginning. Restoration is beginning beneath the surface, and what begins under my authority will not be wasted. Release is not forgetting. Release is not pretending the pain never happened. Release is not calling what was wrong right. Release is not excusing the wound, denying the damage, minimizing the betrayal, or forcing your heart to speak peace over something it has not yet surrendered. Hear me clearly, my child. I am not asking you to erase your story. I am not asking you to lie to yourself about what broke your trust, what frightened your body, what disappointed your heart, or what changed the way you learned to move through the world. I am asking you to stop letting the wound live inside your body as a command. For too long, the past has not only been remembered, it has been ruling. It told your shoulders to stay tight. It told your chest to stay guarded. It told your breath to stay shallow. It told your nerves to stay ready. It told your mind to rehearse what might go wrong. It told your heart not to expect tenderness too quickly. It told your body that rest was unsafe, that softness was dangerous, that trust was foolish, that stillness would expose too much. But the past is not your master. The wound is not your shepherd. The memory is not your lord. What happened may be part of your story, but it does not have authority to keep commanding your body. My child, release means taking the burden out of the place where it has been ruling you. It means letting the pain be brought into my presence instead of carried in your muscles, your breathing, your stomach, your sleep, your posture, your silence, and your fear. It means the wound no longer gets to decide how much peace you can receive. It means the person who never apologized no longer gets to occupy your nervous system. It means the season that overwhelmed you no longer gets to train your body to expect danger in every quiet room. It means what hurt you is no longer allowed to keep living as pressure inside what belongs to me. I know the apology that never came. I know the explanation you were never given. I know the conversation you replayed because something inside you still wanted to be understood. I know how many times you wished they would finally see what they did, finally understand what it cost you, finally speak the words your heart needed to hear. And I am not mocking that desire. I know why you wanted acknowledgement. I know why being misunderstood made the wound feel heavier. But hear this deeply. You can release the need to be understood by everyone without saying your pain did not matter. You can release the apology that never came without declaring the wrong acceptable. You can place the unfinished conversation into my hands and let your body stop waiting for someone else's words before it is allowed to breathe. Release the role of carrying every crisis. Release the false assignment that made you feel responsible for everyone's stability. Release the belief that if you rest, everything will fall apart. Release the fear of being needed less. Release the fear of disappointing people who grew used to your exhaustion. Release the pressure to anticipate every problem before it arrives. Release the old identity that told you love must be earned by overextending, overthinking, overfunctioning, and staying available even when your soul was depleted. My child, you were never created to be a storage place for sorrow. You were created to be held. You were created to receive. You were created to live under my care, not under the constant weight of what others refuse to carry. Your body was not formed to become a container for every unspoken grief, every swallowed response, every denied tear, every unfinished goodbye, every hidden fear, every burden that entered through years of being strong without being comforted. I formed your body for life. I formed your breath for peace. I formed your heart to know my nearness. I formed your soul to rest under my covering, not to become a hidden room where pain keeps stacking itself in silence. Even now, I am not rushing you. I am not tearing the burden out of you harshly. I am inviting it out with tenderness. Let the tears come if they come. Let the breath slow if it begins to slow. Let the chest soften if it begins to soften. Let the quiet arrive where panic once rose. Let your hands unclench. Let your jaw loosen. Let the guarded place understand that surrender is not danger. Surrender is not losing yourself. Surrender is returning what never belonged inside you to the one who has always been strong enough to hold it. Whisper this before me if you can, not as performance, not as proof, not for anyone around you, but as the first honest sound of surrender inside your own body. I release what you never asked me to carry. Say it slowly. I release what you never asked me to carry. Let those words move beneath the surface. Let them pass through the places that have been braced, through the memories that have been locked, through the fear that thought release would mean abandonment. You are not abandoning yourself by surrendering the burden. You are letting me come near enough to carry what your strength was never meant to hold. The first evidence of healing may be quiet. It may be a breath that reaches deeper than it did before. It may be a softening in the chest where pressure used to gather. It may be tears that finally come without shame. It may be a moment where your thoughts do not run as far ahead as they once did. It may be peace arriving before the circumstances change, before the apology comes, before the report shifts, before the relationship is repaired, before every question is answered. Do not despise peace, because it arrives quietly. Peace is not small when it enters a place that fear used to occupy. Release does not erase the past. It removes the past from the throne it built inside your body. It takes the old command out of your breath. It takes the old alarm out of your nerves. It takes the old heaviness out of your chest. It takes the old responsibility off your shoulders. It takes the old fear out of the places where you learned to brace. And under my authority, the body that carried silently can begin to rest openly. My child, let the burden leave by degrees if it must. Let peace begin before you understand it fully. Let rest become familiar again. Let your body learn that it is safe to be held by me. You are not forgetting. You are releasing. You are not denying. You are surrendering. You are not losing the truth of what happened. You are taking the wound out of the place where it has been ruling you. And even now, beneath my hand, the command of the past is losing strength, and the peace of my presence is beginning to take its place. Healing begins beneath the surface before you can prove it. Hear me deeply, my child. Do not measure the beginning of my work only by what your senses can immediately confirm. Do not decide nothing is changing, because every symptom has not moved yet. Do not call my silence absence. Do not call quiet emptiness. Do not call hidden restoration failure. There are places inside you where my hand moves before your mind has language for it, before your body knows how to announce it, before your emotions know how to trust it, before the old fear knows it has begun to lose its grip. You surrendered the burden, and now hope must learn how to breathe inside the places that were used to pressure. Healing often begins before you can explain it. It begins before you can point to it and say, "This is the proof." It begins before the body has fully relaxed, before the nerves have fully unlearned the alarm, before the muscles have fully released their memory, before the mind has fully stopped scanning for danger. It begins beneath the surface, in the hidden rooms where pain once settled, in the quiet places where old sorrow kept speaking, in the depths where fear trained your body to brace before you even knew you were bracing. My child, silence does not mean I have stopped working. Quiet does not mean nothing is happening. The seed is quiet in the ground, but it is not dead. The wound is quiet beneath the bandage, but healing is still moving. The body may not know how to celebrate yet, but my presence is not waiting for celebration before it begins. I am working in memory. I am working in emotion. I am working in the nerves that have carried too much signal for too long. I am working in the muscles that learned to tighten when your soul felt unsafe. I am working in your breath, in your sleep, in your thoughts, in the places where fear became familiar and rest began to feel strange. I know you wanted instant proof. I know the part of you that asked, if I released it, why do I still feel something? If I surrendered it, why does my body still remember? If peace is here, why do I still notice the ache, the fatigue, the heaviness, the tenderness, the trembling, the old thought trying to return? I know those questions. I am not offended by them. I know why you ask. You have lived through seasons where disappointment taught you to look for evidence before you allowed yourself to hope. You have been afraid to believe too soon because you did not want to be crushed again. But hear me now. Healing can begin quietly and still be real. Restoration can begin invisibly and still be under my authority. The first sign may be peace arriving before the body has fully changed. It may be one breath that does not carry the same dread. It may be one night where sleep softens at the edges, even if it is not yet perfect. It may be one morning where the heaviness is still present, but it no longer feels like a sentence over your whole life. It may be that your mind stops attacking your body for needing care. It may be that you no longer hear every sensation as danger. It may be that tears come, not because you are breaking, but because something frozen is thawing under my hand. Do not dismiss these beginnings. Peace is not a small sign when fear has occupied the room for years. I am not only touching what you can name, I am touching what formed beneath the naming. I am touching the moment your shoulders learned to rise before conflict arrived. I am touching the hour your chest learned to tighten before bad news came. I am touching the season your stomach carried what your mouth could not say. I am touching the pattern that taught your thoughts to run ahead. Prepare for loss, expect rejection, rehearse disappointment, and imagine pain before grace could meet you there. I am moving through the hidden pathways where old fear traveled. I am interrupting the old agreement between memory and body. I am teaching your nervous system that my presence is stronger than the alarm. You are not behind because the healing has started quietly. You are not too damaged because restoration is beginning beneath what you can see. You are not too late because the burden stayed longer than you wanted. You are not disqualified because you still have tender places. Tenderness is not failure. Sensitivity is not defeat. Tears are not evidence that nothing changed. Sometimes tears are the first water over ground that has been dry for too long. Sometimes quiet is the first mercy after years of inner noise. Sometimes the absence of panic is the first sound of freedom. My child, let me work where you cannot watch me. Let me move in the hidden places without forcing your heart to demand proof every moment. Let your body receive peace before it understands peace. Let your breath deepen before your mind has explained it. Let sleep return by degrees. Let calm come in waves. Let your shoulders learn slowly that they do not have to protect you from everything. Let your chest learn that it is no longer the storage place for every grief. Let your mind learn that your body is not your enemy. Let the places that expected pain begin to expect my nearness. What begins unseen does not remain unseen forever. What I restore beneath the surface will rise in its time. The old command is weakening, even if you cannot measure every change yet. Fear is losing its right to interpret your body. The past is losing its authority over your breath. The burden that lived quietly inside you is being touched quietly by my hand. And even now, before every symptom moves, before every question is answered, before every visible proof arrives, peace is entering first. Receive that peace. Let it be the first evidence. Let it be the holy beginning. Let it tell your body that my healing has already started beneath the surface. The burden that trained you to brace is losing its grip. Hear me deeply, my child. You are not only the one who endured. You are not only the one who survived. You are not only the one who stayed quiet because there was no safe place to speak. You are not only the one who carried what no one saw, smiled while tired, kept moving while aching, answered while overwhelmed, and made room for others while your own heart was waiting to be held. That was part of what happened, but it is not the whole truth of who you are. I am changing the name your body learned to answer to. The old burden called you strong only when you were silent. It called you faithful only when you ignored your own exhaustion. It called you mature only when you carried pain without asking for comfort. It called you safe only when you stayed braced, guarded, watchful, ready for disappointment, ready for pressure, ready for another demand. But I did not create you to live as a locked room. I did not form your breath to stay shallow forever. I did not design your shoulders to become the place where every hidden grief rests. I am teaching you another way to live. I am teaching you to rest as my child. You are moving from bracing to breathing. You are moving from hiding to surrendering. You are moving from managing pain alone to being held by me. You are moving from silent suffering to spoken release. This shift may begin quietly, but it is holy. It may not look dramatic to others, but heaven sees it. When your hands unclench, I see it. When your chest softens, I see it. When you pause instead of rushing to fix everything, I see it. When you tell the truth about being tired instead of covering it with another performance of strength, I see it. When you let rest come without punishing yourself for needing it, I see it. My child, you will know the old burden is losing its grip when you stop apologizing for needing rest. You will know something is changing when peace no longer feels like laziness. You will know my hand is restoring you when you stop treating your body as an enemy simply because it asked to be cared for. You will know fear is weakening when its urgency no longer controls every decision, every thought, every breath, every response, every imagined future. Fear will still try to speak quickly. It will still try to make everything feel immediate, final, dangerous, and beyond recovery. But fear is not your shepherd. Fear is not your covering. Fear is not the voice that gets to lead the child I am restoring. I know how long you obeyed urgency because you thought urgency was wisdom. I know how often you confused exhaustion with responsibility. I know how often you kept saying yes because your body remembered what happened when you disappointed someone. I know the pressure that rose in you when you considered resting. I know the guilt that came when you did not answer quickly, explain quickly, recover quickly, forgive quickly, perform quickly, or become strong again quickly. But hear me now. The life I am restoring in you will not be built on panic. The peace I am giving you will not require you to betray your body. The identity I am speaking over you does not depend on how much pain you can hide. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not weak because you are weary. You are being restored where you were silently drained. I saw the years that took from you without giving back. I saw the moments when your body kept score because your mouth could not speak. I saw the grief that became heaviness, the fear that became tension, the responsibility that became pressure, the memory that became an alarm, the disappointment that became guardedness, and the hidden ache that became normal to you. And now I am not only comforting what happened, I am restoring who you became while trying to survive it. You are my child before you are a carrier of burdens. You are my child before you are the strong one. You are my child before you are the dependable one, the quiet one, the capable one, the one who keeps going, the one who does not complain, the one who absorbs the pain and makes everyone else comfortable. Those names may have followed you, but they are not your eternal name. I call you held, I call you seen, I call you mine, I call you one who can receive. I call you one who can rest without fear that love will leave. I call you one who can bring the hidden thing into the light and not be rejected by me. So prepare your heart, my child. Do not bring me a polished version of the burden. Do not bring me only the part you think is acceptable. Bring me the grief. Bring me the fear. Bring me the name that still stirs pain when it rises in your thoughts. Bring me the memory your body still reacts to. Bring me the pressure you were never meant to carry. Bring me the responsibility that attached itself to your identity. Bring me the hidden ache, the unfinished sentence, the swallowed tear, the place where you learned to brace before you learned to breathe. Nothing you bring will surprise me. Nothing you name will drive me away. Nothing inside you is beyond my reach. The burden that trained you to brace is losing its grip because my love is teaching you to receive rest openly. You do not have to protect the wound from me. You do not have to carry the proof of what happened in your body forever. You do not have to stay loyal to pain in order to honor your story. Come closer now. Let the exact burden rise before me. Let the hidden place know that it is safe to be seen. The one who carried silently is being taught to receive, and the child who receives rest under my hand will not remain bound to the old command. My child, become still now, not because stillness is easy for you, but because I am near enough to hold what rises when you stop protecting it. Let the room become quiet around you. Let your breathing slow. Let your hands rest. Let your shoulders know they do not have to lift another invisible weight in this moment. For just a little while, stop guarding the place you have been protecting. Stop standing over the wound as if your watchfulness is the only thing keeping you safe. I am here. I am not coming to shame you. I am not coming to expose you harshly. I am coming with tenderness to touch the place that has been waiting for my hand. Hear me deeply. You do not have to explain it perfectly before you surrender it. You do not have to organize the pain before you give it to me. You do not have to know when it started, why it stayed, what name to call it, or how it moved from your soul into your body. I know. I know the hidden ache. I know the memory beneath the tension. I know the sorrow beneath the fatigue. I know the fear beneath the symptoms. I know the dread beneath the silence. I know the place you have touched with concern, the place you have held with fear, the place you have ignored because noticing it felt too heavy. Nothing inside you is beyond my reach. Now let this prayer rise from the deepest part of you, not as performance, not as a religious phrase, not as words spoken to impress anyone. Let it rise as truth, leaving the locked room. Say within your heart, I give you what my soul hid. I give you what my body carried. I give you what I could not explain. Say it slowly, my child. I give you what my soul hid. I give you what my body carried. I give you what I could not explain. Let those words move through the places where pain has been stored. Let them pass through your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, your throat, your jaw, your nerves, your thoughts, your heart. Let the hidden burden hear that it is being brought into my hands now. I speak over your shoulders, and I command the false responsibility to loosen under my authority. Shoulders that carried what was never assigned by me, release the weight. Shoulders that rose in fear before the demand even arrived, release the old alarm. Shoulders that became the shelf for family pressure, silent grief, unfinished obligations, and the need to hold everyone together, come under my peace. You are not required to carry what belongs in my hands. You are not required to prove love by staying tense. You are not required to keep lifting what I am asking you to surrender. I speak over your chest, over the place where grief gathered quietly, over the pressure that came when tears had nowhere to go, over the breath that became shallow because sorrow stayed too long. Chest, release the grief you were never meant to store. Breath, return gently. Heart, receive courage. Let the ache that has lived behind composure begin to soften. Let the heaviness that came from loss, disappointment, rejection, betrayal, and waiting be lifted beneath my hand. I do not despise your tears. I do not rush your tenderness. I meet you there, and I declare peace over the place where grief taught your body to brace. I speak over your stomach, over the place where dread settled before words could form, over the tightness that came when uncertainty entered, over the hidden fear that made your body prepare for danger, even in quiet rooms. Stomach, release dread. Release the expectation of bad news. Release the old agreement with panic. Release the memory of having to absorb what your soul could not process. My peace is not distant from this place. My authority reaches here. Rest is coming over the inner places that learn to tighten without permission. I speak over your jaw, your throat, and your mouth, over the words you swallowed, the truth you held back, the cry you silenced, the answer you did not give because it did not feel safe, the boundary you wanted to speak but buried inside. Jaw, release the unspoken words. Throat, release the pressure of silence. Mouth, no longer carry the burden of every sentence that was never allowed to live. I know what you could not say. I know what you were afraid would happen if you said it. I know what it cost you to stay quiet, and I am not asking your body to keep paying for that silence. I speak over your mind, over the cruel imagination that fear used against you, over the thoughts that ran ahead into disaster, over the pictures that made symptoms sound final, over the questions that circled at night when your body was tired and your spirit needed rest. Mind, come under my peace. Imagination, come under my truth. Fear, you do not have final authority here. The future of my child is not being written by dread. I release wisdom for care, wisdom for rest, wisdom for the next right step, wisdom without panic, attention without obsession, and courage without denial. I speak over your nervous system, over the signals that have been too loud for too long, over the bracing, the trembling, the guardedness, the sudden rush of fear, the feeling of being unsafe without knowing why. Rest under my authority. Let calm return by degrees. Let the body learn that my presence is not a threat. Let peace move where alarm has been moving. Let the places trained by pain be retrained by love. I am not declaring that you must force yourself to feel nothing. I am declaring that fear no longer gets to govern what belongs to me. And now, my child, let your heart release old sorrow. Let it release the sorrow of being unseen. Let it release the sorrow of carrying pain quietly. Let it release the sorrow of needing comfort and receiving pressure instead. Let it release the sorrow of being strong before you were held. Let it release the sorrow of surviving without being witnessed. I saw all of it. I saw the days your body kept going while your soul was tired. I saw the nights when your thoughts became heavy. I saw the moments when you smiled with pain still hidden underneath. You were not forgotten. You were not abandoned. You were never unseen by me. Now declare it before me, quietly or aloud, as the first sound of this deeper surrender. The hidden burden is being named. The silent weight is being lifted. My body is no longer required to carry what belongs in God's hands. Say it again until the protected place begins to understand. The hidden burden is being named. The silent weight is being lifted. My body is no longer required to carry what belongs in God's hands. Receive my peace now. Peace over your body, peace over your breath, peace over your nervous system, peace over your heart, peace over your mind, peace over the memories that have been loud, peace over the places that have been guarded, peace over what you understand and what you still cannot explain. Under my authority, the burden that lived hidden inside you is being brought into the light, and what comes into my light does not have to remain a prison. Rest now, my child. Let me touch the place you have been protecting. Let me hold what your body carried. Let me receive what your soul hid. Let the weight pass from you into my hands, and let the first deep breath of freedom begin. And now, my child, do not rush away from what has just happened in the hidden place. Do not treat this moment as ordinary. Do not close your heart quickly and return to the same inward posture you had before you listened. You are not leaving the same way you came, because what was hidden has now been brought into the light. What your body carried in silence has been named before me. What your soul tucked away for survival has been placed into my hands. What fear wrapped around your symptoms, your fatigue, your grief, your heaviness, and your unanswered questions has come under my authority. Hear me clearly. Release has begun. Not because you understood every detail, not because you forced yourself to feel strong, not because the past disappeared. Release has begun because you stopped hiding the burden from the one who could carry it. You let the protected place be seen. You let the silent weight rise. You let your body hear that it is no longer required to hold what belongs in my hands. And even now, peace is sealing places that pressure once occupied. Calm is entering where alarm once moved. My hand is resting over what used to feel untouchable. Now let your faith become visible. Let your words rise as the first sound of your freedom. Write, released below. Write it not as a performance, not as a phrase for others to approve, but as a declaration before me that the hidden burden is no longer your identity. Write released as a sign that grief does not own your body. Write released as a sign that fear does not interpret your future. Write released as a sign that the heaviness you carried quietly has been placed under my authority. And if your heart knows the fuller declaration, write this: my body will not carry what God has lifted. Let those words stand where silence used to stand. Let them speak where your body once had to speak, through tension, fatigue, tightness, tears, trembling, and heaviness. My body will not carry what God has lifted. Say it slowly. Let it move through your breath. Let it reach your shoulders. Let it settle into your chest. Let it pass through the places where old sorrow tried to remain hidden. My body will not carry what God has lifted. This is not denial. This is surrender. This is not pretending the pain never happened. This is declaring that the pain no longer has permission to rule the temple that belongs to me. And if you are still carrying grief, fatigue, fear, heaviness, or emotional pain that has touched your body, leave your prayer request below. Do not be ashamed to name the place where you need my peace. There are others listening who know what it means to smile while exhausted, to keep going while aching, to carry sorrow in the chest, dread in the stomach, tension in the shoulders, and unspoken words in the throat. Let your prayer request become a doorway for agreement. Let it become a place where light enters. I see every name. I see every need. I see every line written through tears, every short sentence that carries a long story, every quiet cry that says, God, I need rest. Share this message with someone who has been quietly exhausted. Send it to the one who keeps saying they are fine while their body is asking for mercy. Send it to the one who has carried grief too long, fear too silently, pressure too faithfully, and pain without enough comfort. If this prayer helped you breathe again, if something in your chest softened, if your body felt permission to release even one hidden weight, like this video as a simple witness that my peace met you here. And subscribe, my child, so you can continue receiving words of healing, rest, and restoration when your soul needs to be reminded that you are held. Now rest under my peace. Let the declaration remain after the sound of this message ends. Let released be more than a word. Let it be the first step of your body learning a new command. Let it be the sound of fear losing ground. Let it be the sign that what was private has been brought into my light, and what has come into my light does not have to remain a prison. My child, you are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, and nothing hidden inside you is beyond my reach.